Behind me is my future dream car. Now, the reason we can't see it yet is because we need to flip a bunch of cars first. But before we get into the whole flipping stuff, I have a confession to make. In all of my 26 years on this politically stable planet, I have never owned a single car. Ever. I have zero technical knowledge. I have no idea how to even find the best cars to flip in the first place. But that all changes. As for my dream car, well, I'm gonna be honest. I do love bigger cars. And I know what they usually say about smaller guys driving bigger cars. Small pee-pee. And that was my first hint. I will reveal it at the end of the video, but now we gotta find our first car to flip. Alright, so I decided to set a budget of 4,000 euros. So that's basically for the car plus any extra expenses that might pop up along the way in case we need to fix something. Now, in order to find our first flip, I'm gonna be using Facebook Marketplace. I've heard a lot of people say that you can find anything for a lot cheaper there, even cars for 5 times cheaper their actual value, because people selling them either want to clear up some space or just don't care how much they'll get for their car. So in theory, finding a flip-worthy car should be pretty easy. Right? Wrong. After a few days of endless scrolling, I realized there just weren't that many cars listed. Turns out, people in my country don't really use Marketplace, especially when it comes to selling cars. So I called up my friend, a pro car flipper who sold over 50 cars last year, and he told me to try a European car auction instead. I'll be honest, I was skeptical. Buying a car from another country that I couldn't see, touch, or even hear just didn't sit right with me, especially after my friend told me he once bought a car from the States, also using an auction, that arrived without an engine. Bro, like, what? But despite all that, I said, why not? So I decided to take the risk and give it a shot. Alright, so I just made my first purchase, and it's either going to be my worst decision ever, or it's going to be my worst decision ever. I just bought my first ever car, and it's a convertible. So, this is a 2012 Peugeot. It's got a 1.6 petrol engine putting at 88 kilowatts, and the best part is the roof, because it's a hardtop roof, meaning this is just a huge bonus when it comes to these kind of convertible cars, because the weather here, well, let's just say it flips harder than a girl mid-argument. Please don't cancel me. Anyways, before I tell you how much I paid for it, we firstly have to assess the damages. But before I jump into the cons, let's talk about the good stuff first. The mileage is super low, only at 163,000 kilometers, no warning lights on the dash, and after taking it for a couple of test drives, it seems like the engine is working fine, at least for now. Nah, I'm just kidding. The tires are practically new, and it's sitting on these black rims that actually look pretty cool on a white car, not gonna lie. The roof seems to be working normally as it should be, which is obviously the most important part in a convertible, so yeah. The rear quarter panel is pretty beat up, looks like someone tried to patch it up but honestly did a really job at it. Luckily, the rest of the paint is still in good shape and hasn't faded. On top of that, the doors got some scratches here and the bumpers chipped along the side. Definitely not something I can fix myself without a garage or proper tools, so it'll have to go to a paint shop. Fingers crossed it doesn't drain my wallet. The interior is in fairly good condition, just a bit dirty and dusty. For some reason, driver's side carpet is missing. I guess the owner kept it as a parting souvenir.
Oh look, a dog treat inside the car.
As for the headliner, yeah, it's sagging and in the meantime, it just looks awful. So I'll definitely have to glue it back up. Plus, it's still got some of the last owner's air stuck to it. I guess finders keepers. Now the big question is, how much did I get it for? So far, I've spent almost 3,500 euros on it. I've seen these cars go for around 6,000 euros in my country. So even if I manage to sell it, let's say for only 5,000 euros, that's still about a 1,500 euro profit, which I'd say is pretty solid. The paint job still needs to be done, and a few other expenses will definitely pop up along the way, but don't worry, I will do a full cost breakdown at the end of the video once I actually sell the car. I don't want to bore you too much with the accounting stuff right now. Good morning! Alright, so now I'm on my way to one of the body shops that will do the paint job for the right side of this car. If I manage to get it all fixed up and ready to go, I can probably sell it for like 6,000-ish. that would be just ideal. I'm definitely gonna list the car at a higher price, so there's a lot of wiggle room in case someone is interested, so we can just lower the price slightly. I don't really like French cars, but when I was scrolling the auction, I couldn't really find any better options than buying a convertible. I mean, bro, good weather, open up the roof, you're just vibing. All right, so we took a quick pit stop somewhere around 15 kilometers from my hometown. Today is extremely hot, and I bought myself some ice cream, and I ate them. Just wanted to make you feel jealous, you know, that I'm in a convertible, ate my ice cream. Anyways, the reason why I stopped is I wanted to give you a small hint about my dream car. If you manage to guess what is my dream car before I reveal it myself by the end of the video, I would really like you to comment below and just basically spill it out. Now, the vehicle of my dreams is American made.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no.
All right, so we are arriving at the body shop. I'm gonna leave this baby to get all prepped. So the guy who is going to paint the entire side of the car and straighten it, I'm not sure what's the correct technical term for it. We quoted 700 euros for the job. It does hurt a lot, but we're still keeping it at a good price. Anyways, right now we are on foot and I am like 10 kilometers away from my home. So he told me it's gonna take him like 4 or 5 business days to finish, and he said it's going to look perfect. I really hope so. So I guess I'll see you in a week. All right, so it's been a little bit more than 2 weeks, 2 weeks and 1 day actually, but it's finally done. The right side rear quarter panel is fixed and freshly painted. I tried capturing a few in the making footages, but the owner of the paint shop told me he'll break my knees if I do so. Nah, I'm just kidding. He told me he'll kill my family. Before I show you the whole transformation, I want to take it for a wash first. Because I don't live in America and I don't have my own driveway or a backyard or the equipment to wash the car, we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. In a self-service car wash. So I started off by pressure washing the whole car, and honestly, it looked like it hadn't been cleaned in ages. Luckily for the wheels, because they're in black color and the dirt doesn't really pop up on them, I didn't have to use any extra chemicals, just some active foam spray, and wash it off with pressure water. After rinsing off the entire car, I grabbed the active foam cannon, and man, it was so satisfying spraying the whole car with it. I also bought the sponge glove, which is super useful when cleaning a car like this. You can actually get into those hard to reach spots on the car, which is a bit difficult with a regular sponge. So this one's definitely a lifesaver. Now that we were done with the exterior, it was time to move to the inside. I mean, it was a little bit gross, but not too critical. I mean, I've seen cars in worse conditions, but after several minutes of good vacuuming, just look at this difference. There was also a lot of dust on the seats and dashboard, so I bought the spray made specifically for cleaning them. I paid like 7 euros for the whole bottle. No regrets so far because it did a really good job, and compared to the other cheaper alternatives, it smelled really nice, unlike those alcohol-based solutions. And just like that, we were done with the interior. Alright guys, are you ready for a semi-grand reveal? Here it is. So, with the car practically fixed and completely clean, the only thing left to tackle was the headliner. Now, I had absolutely no idea how to fix a sagging headliner, but luckily I managed to find a YouTube video for my exact model.
Bonjour à tous, aujourd'hui on va vous expliquer le démontage.
And yeah, it was all in French. Still, it gave me a good enough idea of what to do. So I went to a local upholstery store, bought some headliner fabric and adhesive spray. These two cost me like 21 euros, and I got started on removing the old one from the car. Honestly, it was much easier than I expected, though a bit nerve-wracking to be honest, since the plastic clips holding everything together were quite fragile. A few of them did snap slightly, but thankfully not enough to cause any real damage. While I was removing the headliner, a curious young gentleman approached me out of nowhere and asked me what I was doing. He was also impressed by how good the car looked for its age, which definitely gave me a huge confidence boost, and I was positive that it will sell in no time, thanks to him. And just as he was about to leave, he left me with some words of wisdom. Never buy a French car again, because they're And then my confidence plummeted. Anyways, once the headliner was out, I had to strip off the worn fabric, remove the plastic seals, and scrape away all of the old dried foam and adhesive. So I took it outside and started gently scrubbing until everything was clean. After that, I wiped it down with some alcohol wipes, let it dry completely overnight, and on the next day, it was time for the most important step: applying the new fabric. Since I had absolutely zero experience, the guy who sold me the adhesive suggested I work in sections. So I divided the board into 3 parts, sprayed the adhesive on the left side first, waited a couple of minutes for it to get sticky, and then applied the first third of the fabric. I repeated the same process for the rest of the parts until I realized that you should never, God forbid, ever press on parts you've already glued, especially with your fingers. So yeah, I was stuck with these tiny bumps, but honestly, they weren't visible enough to ruin my illusion of perfection. Anyway, once the fabric was fully applied, I trimmed the loose edges, poked all the necessary holes, and folded everything inside to make it firmer and prevent any future sagging. Or at least that's what the French lady in the video said I should do. Then I borrowed a glue gun from my 12-year-old sister and used her glittery majestic glue sticks to reattach the seals. So technically, it's a limited edition headliner now. After giving the glue a few hours to fully set, I took it outside, reinstalled it in the convertible, and just look at this result. I know it's not perfect, but compared to the old headliner, this thing now looks like a 5-star hotel. And now that the car was finally fixed up, the only thing left to do was take some good pictures and list it for sale. But before that, I wanted to give you a third hint about my dream car, in case you haven't guessed it yet. It's going to cost me around 25,000 euros to obtain it. Yeah, I know that's a huge stretch, but I'm super determined to make it happen no matter what, even if it means selling like 30 cars or something like that. Anyways, taking good pictures is probably one of the most important steps when listing something for sale, so it doesn't end up looking like this. I spent about an hour trying to capture the best shots possible, and the pictures actually turned out pretty good. Once I got home, I wrote up a short and clear description, made sure to include all of the most important details beforehand so people interested in the car wouldn't keep asking the same technical questions over and over again. I ended up listing it for 5,500, a bit less than the 6 grand I originally planned, but prices for this model dropped slightly while I was getting it ready. Bad timing, I guess. And with that out of the way, all that's left is the most agonizing part of all: waiting for the offers to come in. Alright guys, status update. Went for a quick run, and believe it or not, I got my first phone call, and it was regarding the car. I wasn't expecting to get a phone call that quickly. So the guy is basically looking for a car for his daughter. I mean, the moment I first heard that he was asking about the car, I got a little bit too excited, I guess, because it's probably going to be, hopefully going to be my first car sale. I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, we agreed to meet up at 6 p.m. So it's probably going to be dark, and it'll be a bit tricky to try and capture the whole moment, but I'll see what I can do. Alright, so he didn't actually buy the car the day we met. He told me they were still browsing different convertibles, just basically seeing what's out there, and their budget was around 5,000 euros. But I had mine listed for 5,500, and honestly, dropping it by 500 wasn't really an option. So I told him I could go down to 5,300 at best. He said he'd give me a phone call the next day if they changed their mind. And guess what? The next day was yesterday, meaning they bought the car. I'll be real with you guys, I was 100% skeptical that they'd even come back. I mean, there are a ton of good looking convertibles at this kind of price range, so I kind of thought that was it, but I guess I just got lucky this time. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't record any footage of the sale. It was already getting pretty dark. Also, he seemed to be quite in a rush, and honestly, there wouldn't have been much to see anyway. Plus, I was super confused the whole time. Like I said, I never sold a car before in my life, so he basically had to walk me through the entire process while I was sitting there overly excited, basically trying to keep up. And just like that, the car was officially gone. Sold. And now all that's left is to do a whole price breakdown. Okay guys, now I know I don't have the biggest whiteboard in the world, but I mean, we're using what we have. So the car price, towing and auction was 3,630 euros. The first thing that we got taken care of was the rear quarter panel, 700 euros. Next we had the license plate, insurance, car wash plus chemicals, headliner and the adhesive. It all came around to 102 euros. Also, because I was using a third-party service to list the car and not just list it on Facebook Marketplace, 26 euros. And the grand total that we spent on this car is 4,458 euros. Now, how much did we make profit out of it? So we sold it for 5,300 euros. So that's giving us 842 before tax. Remember to pay your taxes or the IRS will come knocking on your door. And after tax, that's giving us roughly 700 euros. Now, before I tell you what my dream car is, I know I went way over the spending limit. I remember saying that my initial budget was 4,000 euros, but ended up spending 458 more. So I kind of had to learn everything the hard way. But hey, I'm still very happy with how it all turned out. I mean, I bought my first ever car and managed to flip it for a profit within just a few months. For a beginner, I'd say that's kind of crazy when you really think about it. So if you guys haven't guessed by now, the vehicle of my dreams is the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. I'm gonna be honest, this has been my dream car since I was like 12. I mean, look at these cars. They're the Bionicles of 21st century. You can turn them into a semi-convertible whenever you want to. If that's not awesome to you, I don't know what is. My goal is to find a used one under 25k euros. These cars on their own are insanely expensive, and finding even a decent used one under that price will be super hard, but I don't care. I will make it happen. And no, before you ask, I am not sitting inside my next flip right now. This is actually my girlfriend's car, but I am on my way to check out another potential flip. But that's for another video. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for the next series, but only if you really enjoyed it. If not, well, you can't subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.